I am here today as West Midlands Police lead on serious youth violence, following the sentencing of 2 boys for the horrifying murder of Shawn Seesahai in Wolverhampton last November. His family are understandably heartbroken and mourning their beloved son, and our thoughts and sympathies will remain with them. Today's sentence can never make up for Shawn's life being taken, but we hope it can bring some comfort to all those who loved him. Shawn was only 19 when his life was taken at the hands of 2 boys, then aged just 12, who had armed themselves with a machete. That reality has had a huge impact on us all. It is both shocking and saddening. The impact of knife crime is devastating, no matter where you live in the country. This is an issue that affects us all. Much work has been done and we have had successes in some areas. However, this is clearly not enough. We are listening to families affected by knife crime and acting on their feedback to see what more we can do with partners to stop the devastation caused by knife crime. Our responsibility is to work together with partners to understand why children and young people think it is okay to carry weapons and take further action to stop this extremely dangerous behaviour. Our work will not stop, and any death or injury as a result of knife crime will never be acceptable. Thank you.
Shawn Seesahai was visiting Wolverhampton with a friend, and earlier in the evening they were sitting on a bench in Stowlawn Field chatting about their plans for Christmas. About 8:15 p.m, Shawn and his friend left the bench and walked away from it past the defendants. The defendants were then at the bench. Shawn returned after a few minutes, spoke to the defendants and asked them to move. Moments later, he was dead. The defendants jointly attacked Shawn and killed him. The defendants immediately left the field together, the first defendant picking up the machete, which he returned home with, cleaned it with bleach and put it back under his bed. The defendants were arrested the next day. I have taken into account everything I know about the first defendant and what he did, and in my judgment the minimum time he should spend in custody is 8 years 6 months. From that must be deducted the 315 days that he's already spent in custody. I have taken into account everything I know about the second defendant and what he did, and in my judgment the minimum time he should spend in custody is 8 years 6 months. From that must be deducted the 315 days that he has already spent in custody. I appreciate that this is the very same as for the first defendant, but having applied the guideline, the factors that have led me there are different. But when I have considered and balanced the individual features of each defendant, that is the clear conclusion that I have reached for each of them. The second defendant will also remain on licence for the rest of his life. This means that there will be conditions decided when he leaves custody, which he will have to follow for the rest of his life. If he breaks those conditions, then he may have to return to custody. I order no separate penalty for the first defendant on count 2, possession of a bladed article in a public place. I order no separate penalty for the second defendant on count 2. I order forfeiture and destruction of the machete. I make no order for costs and no order for compensation. The victim surcharge applies. Finally, I would like to extend the Court's condolences to Shawn Seesahai's family and to thank them for the dignified way in which they have conducted themselves during this trial. I'd also like to thank the police, all counsel, the intermediaries and all the court staff involved.
I was outside in the living room and her phone rang, and she answered the call and she started crying. I asked her what happened. She said Shawn got stabbed. I said what happened? She started crying, she cannot talk. Take the phone from her. I asked him, I said what happened to Shawn? He said Shawn got stabbed. I said Shawn is okay? He said no, Shawn passed away. It hit me so hard that I can't really say what to do next.
Shawn was a 19-year-old young man with his whole life in front of him. We knew he'd been subject to a brutal knife attack. Inquiries continued around the clock 24 hours, and by the evening of the following day we'd had some information that allowed us to identify 2 suspects. What was shocking for the investigation team was that those 2 suspects were both 12 years old. I led a really experienced team that are used to dealing with the unexpected, and if anything just strengthened our resolve that the case was unique and we needed to get justice for all those involved.
And he always will be remembered because as a father and a mother, and he have a sister.
She keeps saying that now soon she will graduate next 2 years from now. She expects her brother should be there. She crying that she don't have a brother anymore, and that affects us a lot when she say things like that. And she keep crying. It's hard on her right now. It's very hard on her. He wants his own house, he wants his own car. You know, Mommy, I want to shine in my life. I can't see my son married, don't have a wife, I can't see no grandchildren from him. It's very hard. Shawn, you must remember, we always will remember you until God ready for us. One day we will see each other, right? I love you, Shawn.